Hello guys, we're back again here for exploring the lost caverns of Ixalan. Their deck in the standard format. As you can see in this initial list of cards, we see some tribal defining kind of deck build that we can see. And we call this one as the Naya Humans, one of the recent user submitted deck list for the MTG Goldfish website. And what that got second on this interest of this build is the inclusion, of course, of new cards from the set, and particularly this Animpakal, Kellan, and more of this assorted. Of course, Cavern of Souls. Naming humans would probably be problem for most decks with counter spells in their build. So anywho, let's just explore the main deck. This is just basically creatures and lands. So I decided to arrange this one as a grid so we can particularly look at each of these cards or the card choices basically for this kind of deck. So Naya colors is red, green, and white. So particularly we can start her with the 1-drop of Lunar Veteran. So it's just a midnight hunt card for 1/1 for 1, but it has this ability that gets you a lot of life gain effects whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control. And also you can flip this one later on into Luminous Phantom, where it will become another flyer. With another creature control leaves the battlefield, you will gain 1 life. So that way it's like the opposite effect. But also, as long as one or another creature controls gets removed or leaves the battlefield for any instance or effect whatsoever, you still get the value of gaining that 1 life on that kind of effect. And so we have also 4 copies of Coppercoat Vanguard. So it's just basically a good all support in this deck, not only in standard but also in the Pioneer format, wherein you would give your other humans ward, and gets also having them +1/+0. So that's 4 copies. Next we have 2 copies of Hajar Loyal Bodyguard. So it's also good as a 2-drop, but it is having a good all power of 3/3 that can get off early damage, huge chunks it can be, and can also protect your legendary creatures. Whenever this is sacrificed, you can have your legendary creatures +1/+0 and gain unrestrictable on the turn. So we're added other pop effect here with Intrepid Adversary. This is also from the Midnight Hunt. This is before a good component of the mono white aggro deck. It has its ability that whenever it's a battlefield, you can pay additional 2 any number of times. Then for each of those costs paid, you can put that many valor counters on Intrepid Adversary. So creatures you control get +1/+1 for each of those valor counters added. So this is more of life link creature, and also gets you to anthem the rest of your humans in your battlefield. So that is again 3 copies. Next we have 2 copies of Kadilta, Dawnhawk Prime. This is just more of an added 2-drop, but also gets you the option to have your humans you control add 1 mana of any color, or mana of any of its creatures colors. That's the correction. And then later on can become a good mana sink by paying 4 green and white to tap it and put up some counter on each creature you control. At the same time, this is also like a wrap effect, because you can play this one on turn 2. So basically this is also a human. You can also add green or white mana and then ramp later on with your 4-drop or 5-drop or other needed creature to get ahead on your board. So that is 2 copies. Then we have a copy of Kellan, Daring Traveler. So this is the new card from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Its ability, Journey On, would not really be the priority here, unless you would need to have this option wherein your opponents has a lot, or one excess 1+, or the number of opponents you control who has an artifact. But the main ability that you can get the benefit of is its ability that whenever it attacks, reveal the top card of the library, and if it's a creature card with mana value 3 or less, put it in your hand. Otherwise, you may put it in your graveyard. So in one way, it can also act as a card effect for digging out more of your creature threats. At the same time, can also fix out if that top card is a land or something else that you would not really need at the moment. Again, so we have 2 copies of that. 1 copy again, sorry about that. And then 2 copies for Melira, the Living Cure. So this is also a human with also good power toughness of 3/3, and then this has the legendary effect, and the poison counters would be added, but you can get additional poison counters. So any matches, if ever you would be facing a toxic kind of deck build against in MTG Arena or MTG Online, then Melira might have a way to deal with that kind of deck strategy. So in that case, we also have this ability that you can exile it, choose another target creature or artifact, and then when it's put into a graveyard this turn, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So another way to recur any of your important creature or artifact to get rid of more card advantage and also prevent the spot removal effects from your opponents. And of course, one of the important 2-drops here in this deck is of course Talia of Traben, which can basically tax all non-creature spells that are costing 1 more to cast. And that for the 3-drops, we have a lot of options here. We can basically curve out with Adeline. So this is particularly 4 copies the deck to make sure that we can have a good curve and more creatures are added, because whenever you attack, you can create a 1/1 white human creature token that is taps and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. And also we have another way to produce these tokens with Animpakal. So this is the new card, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, that whenever you attack with 1 or more non creatures, put a counter on Animpakal, and then you will create this 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creatures that is tap and attacking, where X is the number of plus and counters on Animpakal. So in any case, you can just curve out early on with 1, 2, 3 in a succeeding number of gnome tokens that are tap and attacking, equal to the added plus and counters on Animpakal. So we have 3 copies in the deck. And also we have King Darian. This is again from the Naya United. This is just another effect for an anthem that can get your creatures +1, and also putting a counter on King Darian for mana sink and creating a 1/1 soldier token as the added to your board. Also, this has also the same purpose, similarly to that of what's our 2-drop. It's a jar. It has the ability that also can protect your creature tokens by having them hexproof and destructible until the turn. So that is 2 copies. Then we also considered here to add Hana and Alina partners. So this is the 3-drop, 3 copies. That is a 4-drop also, and can also have this ability that when you combat your turn, you can put X +1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Alina's power and that creature gains haste. So at any given instance, particularly the best way to put counters is Animpakal, wherein whenever under the combat, you can add +2/+2 counters on it, and then it gains haste, so it would also trigger an additional +1 counter whenever you attack. So that means you will get 3 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens the first turn you played Animpakal with Hana and Alena in the battlefield. So with other choices here, the 4-drops and the 5-drops are particularly humans that can become choices of support or any particular scenario that can also be useful. First off is a single copy of Talia and True Monster. They can also become a 4/4 only with free strike and death touch. That's very good abilities already. You can also have this ability that may play an additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tap. Also, that can also be relevant in the aggro mirror matchup. And then also whenever Talia and True Monster attacks, you can sacrifice a creature or land and then draw a card. So another also converting your extra lands to card those to can basically draw your other threats later on. And we have also 2 copies of Jejiru Masoret. This is from March of the Machines. This is just a 5-drop for 5/4, but it has also this ability that as long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, it will have vigilance and haste. But the important thing here is that whenever it attacks, look at the top 6 cards of the library and you may exile a legendary creature card from among them. So any of the legendary cards can be dig up from the top 6 cards of the library. You can see here basically we have a lot of legendary creatures, choices, and options depending on certain scenario. And then you can put it in your hand and put the rest in the bottom and random order. And the option is that the card is exiled instead. And the bonus is that you can pay or cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. So that's correction. It's not placed in your hand, but instead it can be exiled and cast for free. So that's a very powerful ability to recover in the mid game up to the late game setup on this kind of deck. Now for the land choices, since we have 23 lands, fixing your mana cost for humans, would not be really that of a difficulty because of the having Cavern of Souls as a new inclusionist deck. In support, of course, to the Secluded Courtyard that is from Kamigawa and Dynasty. That can also choose a creature type as in name. But the good thing, of course, with Cavern is that your spells spent to this mana of the chosen creature type can't be countered. And also in support, there's additional fix with 4 Razor Verge ticket. We have 2 Copperline Gorge, 3 Battlefield Forge, and 4 plus of heroes. Since you've noticed that there are a lot of legendary creatures, so they can also be used as to fix the mana color to spend for casting a legendary spell. And also can produce one any color among legendary permanents you control, and can protect later on your creature by paying 3. Tap and exile plus of heroes, target legendary creature against hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So with that, the last is the inclusion of Inganju, of course, Seat of the Empire, that can also act as a spell with the channel ability to deal 4 damage to attacking or blocking creature, and would cost 1 less for each of the legendary creature control. And of course, Battlefield Forge to fill up the 23 land combination of this deck. Mana curve is surprisingly low with 2.51. We are a lot of 18. This are the mana value. With the 3 mana value is also 9. The rest are higher up on this setup. Color distribution would not really matter here because we have a lot of mana fix in this deck, and it's particularly aligned with the white mana cost because we basically a lot of having a lot of white humans in this deck build. And last but not the least are your tokens. We have Gnome token from Anim Pakal. We have human tokens from Adeline. Map token from the map that costs to place it is the Kellan's ability for the adventure, and of course soldier token that is also produced for which can produce this one for King Darian's ability. So I guess that's pretty much it for this. I'm pretty sure this would be an interesting deck build to try, since we have basically having a lot of tribal aligned deck in the current standard because of the inclusion of Cavern of Souls as the mana fix for the deck. So as of this posting, I think we already have dinosaurs, vampires may be possible because of the support from Crimson Bow and Bearded Hand. We also have angels surprisingly in this kind of deck, and this would be the powerful inclusion with the Naya humans in the current metagame format. So I guess that's pretty much it for this deck tech. Thank you for checking this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.